So what's going on, everyone? How are y'all doing today? I hope you're doing fantastic. And so this weekend was the New York Toy Fair, and there is a lot to talk about. There was a lot of really cool announcements, and talking about like new toy announcements and everything, it's not something that I typically make a video for, but there's a lot that happened this weekend. And there's a lot that I want to talk about because as the new releases or the new announcements for new figures and waves were starting to hit online, I was getting more and more excited. And I just wanted to make a video about some of the figures that I am really excited for. So let's go ahead and get into some of these announcements. So first up, I want to talk about Mondo. And they made a post on X talking about Street Sharks. And so they're going to be coming out with their own Street Sharks figures. And I don't know if they're going to be doing like something that's a little more like a Super 7 Ultimate style with Street Sharks. I have a feeling it's going to be more in line with their, what do you want to call it? Like they're larger. How tall are they? Like 8-inch or something like that. 8 or 10-inch. Larger like vinyl figures like what they did with the Ninja Turtles, which look awesome. I wanted to get those, but they released like all four for pre-order at the same time, and they were like $80 a piece, and so that was going to be very expensive when they all released, so I didn't get those. But Street Sharks is something that I am very interested in getting if they release them individually instead of like all at once, because if trying to get all four at one time, if all of them go up on pre-order, just like what they did with the Ninja Turtles, that's going to be very expensive. So hopefully they end up just releasing just one at a time, one, maybe two at a time, and then maybe give it like a few months and release the other two, you know, just kind of stagger it out a little bit, make it a little bit easier on us. But yeah, I am hoping that that's what they do, but they just released a little teaser image and it looks awesome. And I am excited to see what these figures are going to look like. Street Sharks is one of my favorite lines from when I was a kid. I've always loved it. I have a lot of the original Street Sharks figures. And so I am really excited to see how these are. And next up, I want to talk about Power Rangers because there was a lot of stuff that was announced for Power Rangers at this show, mainly because Playmates is now doing Power Rangers toys. And so this is all new stuff that we're seeing. And I think this was the first time we've seen anything from them. So it's really cool to see a lot of these pictures. And these pictures that I am showing were provided by the Montyverse. They posted them over on X. So be sure to give them a follow. And any of the pictures that I'm showing in this video, if they were taken by a specific content creator, whether it's on X or Instagram or anything, I'm going to have their information on the photos. I'm going to have links down in the description below, so you can go to those channels and you can go and subscribe to them, whether if they have a YouTube, Instagram, X account, go and give them a follow or subscribe to them, because I really do want to, if I'm using their stuff, I want to make sure I'm giving them a shout out and I'm showing them some support. So be sure to give all of these people a subscribe and a follow. So these were taken by the Montyverse. And first up, I want to talk about the Zords. And the Zords, they're looking okay. I like the way the individual Zords look. I think they look really cool. I do love the fact that you can put them in the tank mode. I think that is awesome as well. That's shown right here in this image. And so they look really cool. And it looks like each Zord may come with its own little mini Power Ranger figure. So that's awesome to see. I do like that. And then you see what it looks like when it's combined. I'm not a fan of the way it looks when it's combined. I don't know, just something doesn't look right. The arms look almost too small compared to the rest of the body. And if you see in this image, that Megazord is having a really tough time standing up straight. So I don't know how stable this is going to be when it's fully put together and combined into the Megazord. It's looking like it's having some difficulty. And the 6-inch Rangers look okay. I know there's a lot of debate online, and there seems to be a lot of people that don't like these. They prefer the Lightning Collection that Hasbro did. These are probably going to be a lot cheaper. I'm hoping these are going to be around $12 or $15, max $20. I'm hoping these are not more than $20. I'm hoping these are more around like a $15 range. Because if you look at the articulation on these is fairly simple. It's not too complicated. They don't have butterfly joints. It doesn't even look like they have double joints. So I'm hoping these are going to be more simple, more cheaper, $12, $15 range. I could see these going up, like I said, to the max of $20 range. And at $20, I don't know if they're worth it. It just really all depends on how they are. Once you kind of get them in hand and you kind of mess with one, if it feels like they're worth $20, and I can see you maybe going into the full line. But I love the sculpt. I do love like the muscle tone that they've given to the Rangers. I think it looks really cool. So the sculpt of the Rangers, I like. I don't like the articulation joints. And I'm also not a fan of the super wide, like Dragon Ball Z style neck. And if you know what I mean by wide Dragon Ball Z style neck, here's an image. That's what I'm talking about. Like they have a super wide neck, but these 6-inch figures, in my opinion, they look kind of cool. So it really all kind of depends on the price point, if these are really going to be worth buying into or not. This line has my interest. I'm not completely sold on it, but also not completely against it either. This is really cool. I do love this. I mean, not just like the plushies. I mean, those are okay, but it's the big 8-inch Rangers behind them. These are very similar to the old 90s 8-inch Power Rangers. I think they're using the same sculpt too, because these look almost identical. These are awesome. If you do not have the original 90s 8-inch Rangers, then I would definitely be interested in getting these. I would, but I already have all the old ones, so I don't need these. So I'm more likely going to pass on them, unless they could get me if the packaging for them is identical to the old packaging. If it's very like retro or like vintage inspired by the old packaging, I could see me getting these and just keeping them in box. So that would be probably the only reason I would get them. I wouldn't get them to open them because I already have all of the original 8-inch Rangers opened. So really cool. If you don't have the originals, these probably spark your interest. I'm really curious about the price point on these as well. Don't know how much these are going to be, but these look really cool. And last, we have right here the Dragon Dagger and the Blade Blaster. These look awesome. I love these. The Blade Blaster actually does like transform, and it can go into the sword mode, and then you can change it back into the gun mode. It looks really cool. I actually love the way it looks, and this is something I'm definitely going to be picking up. And the Dragon Dagger, I have the original vintage one, and it still plays some sound. It's not the greatest. The sound quality is not the greatest, but it does play some music here and there whenever you hit the buttons. It does still work slightly, but I am definitely going to be picking this one up. I am really excited for both of these, and I'm curious to see what other weapons that they come up with. I'm hoping that they do a lot of the other ones. So that is it for Power Rangers. And next, I think this was actually announced before New York Toy Fair, but McFarlane is actually going to be doing IDW Turtles. They first showed off an image for their 5-inch page punchers, and they showed Leonardo. This looks kind of cool. I mean, it shows it does come with a comic book. They're not showing what comic it is, but it does come with a comic book. I'm not interested in their 5-inch page puncher line. It's just something that I'm not really into. The sculpt of the figure does look really cool, so I am digging that. But I am hoping that this is a sign that maybe we could get some 6-inch scale IDW Turtles. That would be cool. I know loyal subjects have come up with some IDW Turtles, but I'm not a fan of the way those look. I just not for me. But McFarlane could really do some really cool stuff because they know how to get like a lot of that detail in their figures and their sculpting. They are just masters when it comes to that, and especially sticking to a low price point. So I am really curious to see if we get some 6-inch scale IDW Turtles. That would be sick. I would love that, and I would be all in for it. So I am hoping that this is a sign that we get some 6-inch figures. But right now they're just showing off, hey, we got Turtles. We're doing 5-inch page punchers. So if this is something you're interested in, this is really cool. Not for me. For me, I'm just hoping this is more of a hint as far as what we could expect down the road. And also for McFarlane, they announced they're doing some Mortal Kombat Classic figures. And these are going to be in the 7-inch scale, just like how they did with their DC Multiverse. These are based off the Mortal Kombat 2 designs, and these look awesome. I have wanted classic Mortal Kombat action figures from McFarlane ever since they started doing MK figures. And they always stuck to like MKX or MKX. No, I don't think they did MKX now that I'm thinking about it. I think it was MK11 and then MK1. I don't think they did any MKX. I don't know. I can't remember. They just did the newer games. Now they're doing MK2, just classic designs. And these look sick. I love these. The only thing that I am not a fan of, I'm not a fan of the alternate hands. I mean, with Sub-Zero, it doesn't look like you're really getting any alternate hands that makes it so you can do a pose where if he's shooting like an ice blast, you don't get any of that. He comes with like weapon holding hands, but it's not showing that he comes with any weapons. I'm not sure what's going on there. Hopefully there's more that's going to be shown off when these kind of get further into production. Maybe they'll show like some final images as far as what the figure is going to all entail, if you're going to come with more accessories or weapons or anything. The sculpting of the figures look cool. I just don't like the alternate hands. And even with Scorpion, you don't really get a hand where he's shooting like the spear. He comes with the spear. I don't know if that's like a plastic rope or if it's an actual like rope. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there with the accessories and the alternate hands. I'm hoping these kind of be worked on a little bit. I would love to see some alternate hands that actually make sense with the characters and their moves. And they also showed Melina. You got Melina here. And I was a little confused when I saw her bald head. I'm like, when was Melina ever bald? But it looks like her hair, her bandana, and her hairpiece is probably just a separate piece. You remove that. You put the bald head on, and then you just put the bandana and the hairpiece on that. So you can swap out if you want to have the open mask or if you want to have the mask on. That's probably all that really is. So that's really cool. Or if you want to have a bald Melina, you can do that. But you do get Melina there. And then Sub-Zero, you get an alternate Sub-Zero where he has his... Wait a minute. I'm looking at the alternate mask. So you get one where it's like a more like ninja mask. That's the alternate one where it's like a cloth face, like mouth covering. And then you get the other one. Let me go to the first image. Oh, that one has that mask as well. So the only way to get that cloth mask is with that one, with that version. And this one's probably going to be an exclusive somewhere. So that is kind of disappointing. I don't like the way they're going with these alternate accessories and alternate heads, because I don't like the body. I don't like the frosted arms, but I like the alternate head with that cloth mask. But I prefer this one here where he has the regular arms and they're not frosted. I don't like that. I don't like that that drives me nuts. Okay. So this line is cool, but it looks like it may have its faults. I'm hoping that they kind of get this right. These look really cool, but yeah, so far that has really thrown me off. I don't know how I feel now. I don't know. Really, we're going to have to wait and see how these are. And then next is another one of my favorite announcements is My Pet Monster by Loyal Subjects. This is really cool. I love this. I don't have the original. I've never had the original. And the original now, especially if you want the cuffs, that's the expensive part. He's pretty expensive. But now they're re-releasing My Pet Monster. It looks like he's going to be a little bit smaller than the original, but this looks so cool. I love this. And this is just so freaking cool looking. I'm really curious about the price point too. I'm hoping he's not too expensive. I don't know where that's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be at retail. It would be cool if he's at retail. I have no idea. I didn't really see too much information with him, but I did see these pictures and I thought this was sick. This is one of my favorite announcements. I'm really hoping that if this sells well, maybe they'll do some of the other characters from the My Pet Monster line. That would be really cool. And next, I want to talk about Thundercats. Now, this is the ThunderCats and MOTU crossover line. where it looks like Thundercats are kind of crossing over into the MOTU universe, just like what they did with Turtles of Grayskull. These are all done by Mattel. These look really cool, and like the armor's kind of cool for Thundercats. It's alright, but what I like is you can actually strip the armor down and have a basic Thundercats character like Lion-O here, and Panthro, Chitara, Tigra. You can have all of them like their basic Thundercats look, but in the MOTU origin style. So that's really cool. I love that. These are really cool. I love the look of Lion-O. Panthro looks cool. Chitara looks cool. Tigra. Skeletor is really cool. Skeletor and Mumra. That is really cool. I love this combination of both Skeletor and Mumra. I think that it is really cool. You're getting like two characters in one. And then, of course, you have He-Man here. And He-Man has a very unique look to him. His head sculpt is super unique. Something I don't think we've ever really seen before. So this is kind of getting my interest. And it looks like his sword is not your typical power sword. It looks like it's a combination of the Sword of Omens and the power sword. But also, if you look at the chest, it's really it looks like it's taking kind of inspiration from the Eternia playset. It looks like the lion face from the Eternia playset is on his chest, so that's really cool. Something I don't know if you've ever really seen before with He-Man. So I like the look of this. I think it looks really cool. I don't know yet. I'm not really sold on getting this line, but one character I know for a fact that I am going to get is going to be this right here, Battle Cat. But he's like an anthropomorphic character. Like he's on two legs. He's just like your Thundercats, but he's Battle Cat. This is really cool looking. I love this. I'm definitely getting this character. This is my favorite out of the line that we've seen so far. So this is something that's super unique, something I haven't really seen before. So I am definitely getting this one. And the reason why I don't know if I'm going to get this line is because Super 7 has shown off that they're extending their Thundercats line, their basic line that you can find at retail. And I think that's normally around like $30, $35. It might be lower. I'm not sure. But it's on a cheaper price point than their typical Ultimates. But these are the Ultimates figures, just with less accessories. So it's at a cheaper price point, and you could get it at retail. And they've shown that they're coming out with Tigra and Chitara. And so if I can get these cheaper at retail, I'm going to pick these up, especially Tigra. I didn't get Lion-O. I have found him in store, but I didn't pick him up because I do not like the color scheme on him. He's very pale. I really don't know why they messed with the color scheme for Lion-O, because the original one was like that more like orangish brown tint to him, kind of like what you typically think of when you think of Lion-O. But the one that they released in this packaging at retail is a pale Lion-O, just kind of bland, no vibrant colors really. Just, I don't like it. And you see him in the background in this image. You see him in the back there, and the color scheme I don't like. I do have a Lion-O that went up on pre-order by Super 7 on Big Bad Toy Store, and I'm not sure if that pre-order is even going to go through, because I mean it's showing that I've pre-ordered it, but I think it was like a few hours later, Big Bad Toy Store took the listing down, and so you can't even find the listing. If I click the link on my pre-order page, it takes me to a page that says is unavailable. So I have no idea if that item is even going to ship. So I have no idea what's going on there. But talking about this Tigra and Chitara, I am definitely getting those. So if I get these, I don't know if there's any point for me to get the MOTU Origins figures. I just don't see a reason if I'm going to be getting these Ultimates ones. And now we're getting on to the Ninja Turtles part of this video. The rest of the video is just going to be Turtles. I've gotten everything else out of the way, and now we're just going to be talking about Turtles, because there was a lot. There was a lot more than I thought. I didn't think there was going to be that many Ninja Turtle stuff to really talk about, but I was wrong. There's a lot here to talk about. So Playmates is going to be re-releasing the Sewer playset. This is 1-to-1, the exact same scale as the original Sewer playset. So that is awesome. I love that. I think it's really cool. It's 1-to-1 to the original, because if you have the Technodrome, and especially if you have the original Technodrome and the new re-release of the for Playmates, their Technodrome, there's a different scale. The new one is a slightly smaller than the original. So I'm really curious how this will plug into the Technodrome, since this is 1-to-1 to the original sewer playset, which also connected to the Technodrome. But the Technodrome on the new one is smaller. I'm wondering if just the connection point is still the same size. That's probably all it really is. I don't have the Technodrome. I've considered getting it. I think it's still available on Amazon. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't looked in a while. But this one is also Amazon exclusive. So if you want a new sewer playset, this is coming out, and I'm interested in this as well. I'm not sure. It's going to take up a lot of shelf space, which is something that every collector eventually has a struggle with, is shelf space. And I am running out of shelf space. And with all the announcements, I don't know what I'm going to do. I may have to start boxing some stuff up or getting rid of some things and kind of focusing on certain lines and certain stuff. I don't know. And then they also showed off their mutant module. This looks cool. I think they said that this is 1-to-1 to the original as well. From what I heard, I think this is using the same mold as the original. So there should not be any real difference between this and the original. There might be some slight differences when it comes to certain paint apps on different parts of the vehicle. But I think as far as scale, I think everything is the same scale, and then the sculpt, everything should be the same, except just different paint apps on different parts of it. But other than that, this looks really cool. And then another vehicle that they showed off is the Foot Cruiser. Now this looks really cool. And the thing about this image right here, I was watching Pixel Dan. Pixel Dan had a video where he was going through the Playmates booth and he was talking to one of the reps there. And they said this car right here that they were showing off is the vintage, the original Foot Cruiser. This is not their re-released new one, but they did say that their new one is going to be completely identical to the original. So this is kind of like mostly like a teaser. Hey, this is something we're working on. We just don't have anything to show right now. That's kind of the feel that I got. I am really curious to see how it looks when it's done. If it is complete 1-to-1, a complete just remake of the original, just newer. But yeah, I am excited for this. This is one that I'm probably going to be picking up as well. So really cool to see this. Excited for this one. And then they did show off some more of their re-releases of the original vintage Playmates line. They got, which I swear I've seen Casey Jones before, and Mutagen Man. I feel like I've seen both of these before at retail already, but I could be wrong. But Casey Jones, I am going to be getting. I have the original Casey Jones. I'm probably going to be picking him up mostly for his accessories, just so I don't have to buy them individually online on eBay or anywhere. I can just spend $10 and just get this Casey Jones, which is going to be cool because I haven't gotten any of the re-released Playmates toys. I do have the Turtles, but I have them in packaging. I never opened them, but this is going to be the first one that I'm actually going to open. I may get two just to keep one in packaging and open. And like I said, it's going to be really cool to open them up and actually feel it in hand. What's the difference between, because I'll be able to compare it directly to the original and have the new one. And what's the difference with its feel in hand? If it doesn't feel any different, and if it actually still feels like it's good quality to the original, like it's still sturdy, the plastic feels good, I may buy more into the line. I may get more. Just to actually have them, at least Casey Jones, open them up. And if I like him, I may get Worm. And I may get Chrome Dome because I love that they're using vac metal. He's super shiny. And my Chrome Dome that I have isn't as shiny. And he's missing some of his accessories. So I'll definitely probably be getting Chrome Dome if he looks like how he does in this picture. So these are really cool. And I love Scale Tail. I think that is a really cool one to see. And he is a little pricey now. If you want all of his accessories, you're spending a good amount of money for the original. I would love to see them re-release some of the expensive figures that are in that original line, because I'm missing a lot of those. So it would be really cool if they could re-release those and you could buy them at retail for like $10. That would be awesome. Like you could do Scratch, of course, Hotspot, Sandstorm, Dr. L, Half Court. A lot of those ones are really expensive, so if we could get those re-released at retail, that would be awesome. I would love to see those re-released so I could at least have them on my shelf. Even if they're not the originals, I could at least have them on my shelf with my other vintage Playmates figures. In this next one, I think they've already shown him before. I don't think he's new. This is just the first time that I've seen him. And this is a new Ultimate Shredder for the NECA cartoon line. And this is one that I'm going to get. I don't collect a cartoon line. It's just not something I ever really got into. I've explained it before, like the reason why I never really got into it. But I would love this cartoon shredder. And the reason why is because I had this really cool display case that I got from a Comic-Con years ago from Jamie Cocker. He was there. I follow him on Instagram. He does a lot of really, really awesome art. I love his artwork. And he had this display case there, and I had bought it, and I have right now my Super 7 shredder in it, which doesn't match the shredder that's actually on the artwork. This shredder right here matches it perfectly. So I could get this shredder, put him in that display case, and just have that just really, really cool. It would just be sick. So I'm getting him specifically just to put in that display case. And then while we're talking about the NECA cartoon line, ToyShiz, he actually got a first look reveal of Robotic, Toka, and Razor. These look cool because these are something that was never seen before. They were never in the cartoon or any of the original toy line. This is a complete unique, like, what if version of these characters, and these look sick. These are going to be in a 2-pack at Target, so probably going to be around the $55, $60 price point. If I remember correctly from what the 2-packs used to be at. I don't know where they're at now. I haven't looked in a while just because, like I said, I don't buy the cartoon line. I was looking at them years ago when they first announced, when they first released, so I don't know what they're at now. These are a little bit bigger, so I can see these being maybe a little bit more expensive. I'm not sure, so I don't know about the price point. But these do look really cool. I'm probably going to get these, like I said, even though I don't collect the cartoon line. Since this is the only version we're probably ever going to get of these characters, or probably never going to get any other iteration, I'm going to get these just so I can have these on my shelf. And next up is the Stan Sakai NECA figures. These I am getting. These right here were probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, announcements from this entire convention were these. I love these colors. They're so bright, so vibrant, so just full of life, and just I love the color scheme. It's so cool. And the facial expressions on these, like if you look at Raph, like his facial expression is just awesome. Like Raph, Leo, and Mikey look so happy. He looks so happy. Like, I don't know, just everything about these, the sculpt, the colors, the head sculpts, the expressions on them, everything is selling me. And so I'm getting these. I'm definitely getting these. I don't know. I think these are, I think they said these are all Ultimates. These are all going to be single releases. They're not going to be packaged in a 2-pack. They're all going to be their Ultimate single releases. So you could probably find them at retail. They're more than likely going to go up on other places for sale online, like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. So really cool. Keep an eye out on these. Super stoked on these. And next, this is probably my second favorite announcement from the entire convention, is NECA's Universal Monsters line. These are the new ones. They're adding on, they're extending this line even further. But these new characters, I don't know what it is, but there's something about these new characters just look completely different than anything we've ever seen before. I love this Shredder. I can't decide which alternate head I'm going to go with. I love the bat. Is like that mutant bat, just evil look. It looks so cool. But then you have the other one that's more like Shredder style, but it has like a Shogun face mask. It looks so cool, so evil. and it just looks awesome. And I love the cloth cape that he has. Next up, I'm getting all three of these. There are three new ones that they announced, and I'm getting all three of these. I'm getting Shredder. I'm getting this Michelangelo and Donatello, this two-headed monster. This looks so cool. I love this sculpt. I love the idea of this. And I love the alternate head that they have with Mikey. I don't know if they're going to have an alternate head for Donatello. They didn't have that there. They didn't say anything about it in any of the videos I watched. So I have a feeling Donatello isn't going to be getting an alternate head. That's probably just the one Donnie head that you're going to have. But Mikey does have two heads. This looks cool. I love it. I don't know if there's any other accessories that he's going to have. Don't know. But this is all they showed off, and it was enough to sell me. And last, this was like so weird. It was just so like completely different than anything that we've seen in this Monsters line. And this is a Krang, but he's like real like psychedelic looking, kind of like a sci-fi like outer space creature. And this looks sick. I love this. Like I said, it has that psychedelic kind of like 50s or 60s style like look to them. And I love the vibrant colors. It's so vibrant, so colorful, just so awesome. And this just looks so cool. It's something super unique, something we've never really seen before. And I love it. I love the colors. I love the sculpt. This is something that I'm definitely getting. And then also with NECA, Pixelodan, he got a first look reveal at a What If line for the movie Turtles. And this is what if Bebop and Rocksteady were in the Secret of the Ooze movie. These are interesting, to say the least. Rocksteady has grown on me. When I first saw him, I wasn't a fan, but now that I've kind of looked at it over time, it's been a day. I've looked at it multiple times and it's grown on me. I do like Rocksteady now. I think it looks really cool. I don't know if it's fully what I would imagine they look like in the movie. This isn't what I would think that they would look like, but this is NECA's take on it. So I can appreciate that. I understand that. So Rocksteady is, like I said, it's grown on me. He doesn't look that bad, but Bebop, on the other hand, looks freaking terrible. Bebop just does not look good. I don't know what's going on with this sculpt. His head is freaking massive. His arms almost seem too small for his body. And I just don't know what's going on with him. I am not a fan of this at all. Like Bebop's, and it's mostly his head sculpt. His arms, I don't know. I don't know if it's just looking at it because his head is so big why his arms look small. But his head is just so freaking massive, and the head sculpt just looks terrible to me. I do not like that head sculpt. I don't know what they were thinking with that, but it just looks bad. And so I'm really hoping that they can go back, retool it, come up with something new. Because it looks like these are still very early on. You see there's no articulation joints on these figures. So this is very early on. So I'm hoping that this kind of gives them some time to go back in, come up with some new designs, some new head sculpt for Bebop, at least if they want to fix up Rocksteady, because I've heard some complaints online of people don't like Rocksteady, which I can't agree, but it has grown on me. So I do kind of like it, but I can also see people's complaints. So if they want to fix him up too, you're more than welcome to. If anything, you can just improve on them. Bebop, on the other hand, you definitely need to go back and retool that one and come up with something new, because that head sculpt is just hideous in my opinion. I'm not going to get these if they don't fix Bebop, because I can't get Rocksteady and not get Bebop. And I'm definitely not getting Bebop. And I could see these being released in a 2-pack, just like what they did with Toka and Razor. If you get one, you're probably going to have to get the other. And I'm not getting Bebop. I just don't like it. I'm not going to have him on my shelf if they don't fix him. So I'm hoping that they do fix these up. That's my thoughts on it. And I know they did, I think at one point announce, was it a few years ago now, they did announce that they want to do a April if she was in the movie and she had the yellow jumpsuit. So that would be really cool to see. That's something they've announced. They haven't shown her off yet, but I know that's something that they've talked about. So I would love to see that as well. So I am really interested in this line, in this idea of what if. I'm hoping that they do fix these up. because I would love for these to sell well so they can continue on with the line and just show us some other really cool stuff. And the last thing that I want to talk about is their Super 7 Ultimates Wave 13 2003 Turtles. Wave 12, the last wave that they announced were the 4 Turtles. So Wave 13 is going to be Shredder, Casey Jones, Foot Soldier, and Splinter. I don't have any attachment to the 2003 Turtles. It is a cartoon I'm interested in watching. I do have interest in watching it because I do like the designs. It's kind of like real anime inspired when you're looking at the designs of the characters. Really cool. So, but I haven't watched it. So I'm not going to be getting these. And also, one thing I love about the original Ninja Turtles is the colors are so vibrant, so colorful. The colors on these, they're not really there. Like Casey Jones, the original Casey Jones, he has that bright blue tank top. He's got the bright green shoes. He's got the greenish blue, like teal, like weapon accessories. Like he has that, which is really cool. And this Casey Jones, I'm just not digging the colors. It's just maybe one of the reasons why I'm not going to get these. It's just, I don't know, there's not really anything that really appeals to me. Not only have I not watched the cartoon, but I also just am not too much of a fan of these figures as well, except for Shredder. Shredder does look really cool. I do love that look of Shredder. I may pick him up. I'm not sure. He may be one I may not get on release. I may give it some time, see if he goes on sale, drops down in price, and get him when he's around like $40 or something like that. So that's probably what I'm going to do. You know, just wait, see if I can get him when he's cheaper. And if I don't, because he like sells out and he just never re-releases or gets a restock anywhere, it's fine. It won't be a big deal if I get him or not. But yeah, I am at least interested in Shredder. Everything else, though, I'm probably going to pass up on, even the Turtles, because getting all 4 Turtles is going to be pretty expensive. And so getting versions of Turtles that I have no attachment to, spending that kind of money on something that I'm not too interested in is just not worth it to me. So I'm not going to get the Turtles unless I watch a cartoon and I love the cartoon. Then that's something I may reconsider. I may be more interested in this line. But right now, my thoughts right now at this point, I may only get Shredder, and that's a maybe. So really cool to see, though. I know there are big fans of the 2003 Turtles, so I know there are people who are really excited for these. It's just something I'm not into. So I'm hoping that they do eventually maybe go back and revisit the original like Playmates Turtles in the 90s and re-release, those Ultimates again, because there's some characters we're missing. If you saw my video last week, that was, I talked about that, where there are characters that are missing, and I would love to see some of these characters that are missing released in the Ultimates line. And so I'm hoping that maybe after they get their 4 Turtles, Shredder, Splinter, Casey Jones, and the Foot Soldier, just kind of like the main core of what you think of when it comes to Ninja Turtles, the main core characters. Maybe when they get those out the way, now they can kind of revisit that original Playmates line, release some of those, or maybe do a version of like these waves where they can mix it up where they always release 4 figures. Maybe do 2 for the 2003 and then do 2 for the Playmates line. Kind of mix it up. That'd be really cool. So I'm really interested to see where they go with waves after this. That's kind of where they got most of my interest in. Like, what are they doing in the future? What's going on there? So if you're interested in 2003, then I know you're probably super excited for these. So yeah, these are coming out Q1 2025. And so that is it for the announcements at New York Toy Fair of things that I was interested in, at least talking about, whether it's figures I'm buying or figures that I may not be buying, but I did want to talk about it. There was a lot of announcements at New York Toy Fair. There are a lot of figures of things that I'm not interested in. And so I didn't want to talk about those because I feel like if it's something of a character or a line or series that I'm not interested in, then I didn't really want to talk about it because I wouldn't really be excited. I wouldn't have much to say. So if you are interested in seeing some of the other announcements, be sure to give a lot of these other people that I talked about in this video a follow and subscribe to, because they are posting a lot of these releases on whether it's X, Instagram, and YouTube. Be sure to give all these people a follow. And there's plenty of other content creators that went to New York Toy Fair that are showing off a lot of these other figures. So there's more that was announced. These are just a few things that I wanted to talk about, me personally. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Dude Retro, and I'll see y'all next time.